Hey guys, it's Clint from the Christ in Culture, and it is almost New Year's. So the past couple of days I've been thinking about what can we do with, there's just so much stuff that we've talked about in this last year, and we want to do something to kind of wrap it all up. And so the guys and I have been thinking, and we thought it'd be cool if we came together with our top media of the year list. So each day, starting today, we are going to announce what our favorite media from the year is. So today's mine. So we're going to go through, first things first, my favorite movie of the year. So for me, the best movie of the year was A Quiet Place. If you guys haven't listened to the episode on A Quiet Place yet, go check it out. The more I think about this movie, the more I go back and look at it. It's awesome, guys. There's so much good stuff in there. Fantastic movie. The book. My favorite book of the year is Toward the Gleam. I think it's by T.M. Duran. But it was a fantastic book. I read, I think it was this past spring. Borrowed it from a friend, Chris Donato. And if you are into kind of fantasy meets kind of like real world, it's awesome. Especially if you're into like things like C.S. Lewis or G.K. Chesterton or J.R. Tolkien, stuff like that. Fantastic read. Not only was it one of my favorite book of the year, it was probably one of my favorite books ever outside of the Lord of the Rings itself. So, if you like the kind of stuff, go check it out. Awesome read. TV show. They're going to make fun of me for saying this. Get over it, Gordon. Get over it, Steve. My favorite movie of the year was Riverdale. Our favorite TV show. Riverdale's awesome. I still have not caught up to this current season yet, so no spoilers, but it's pretty cool. I binged the whole thing in a couple of days, seasons like 1 through 3, so it's good stuff, and I enjoy it. So, TV show of the year, Riverdale. Song. This was the hard one for me. I listen to music all the time, so anyone who knows me knows that I'm always listening to music, so I couldn't actually narrow it down to a single song. So I thought about, what do I listen to the most? And it came down to actually being 2 musical soundtracks. So instead of just a single song, I'm going to go with 2 full soundtracks. They are, number 1, The Greatest Showman. Fantastic movie, great music. I binged that soundtrack like whenever I drive. And then when I feel like singing, my favorite soundtrack, Dear Evan Hansen, the newish musical, really, really popular. Go check it out. Great message to it as well. Yeah, so those are probably my favorite songs. Just really anything from either of those soundtracks are phenomenal. And last, but not least, my favorite podcast, other than the Christ in Culture, was the Bright Sessions. So this is the podcast that Gordon got me started on earlier in the year, and it was awesome. They're still kind of putting out new content, bonus episodes every once in a while. But there's some really good stuff there. So, go ahead and check out that as well. So, real quick recap. Oh my gosh, there's a dog about to attack. Kato, you want to say hi? Yeah, this is my brother's dog, Kato. So, really quick recap. Just again, this is our top media of the year. Gordon and Steve will be putting out some videos tomorrow as well, so stay tuned for those. Again, mine is the movie, A Quiet Place, fantastic. The book, Toward the Gleam by T.M. Duran. TV show, Riverdale. Music, 2 full soundtracks, Dear Evan Hansen and The Greatest Showman. And the podcast, the mystery, well, kind of mystery, kind of superhero, The Bright Sessions. Check them out. Enjoy it, and guys, get ready for an awesome new year. Welcome to the adventure.
Hey y'all, this is Steve from the Christ in Culture. I guess Clint kind of mentioned a few days ago, and so we apologize. There was a little bit of miscommunication on our part, and so there was no update yesterday, but I'm here today to wish you guys a happy new year. As of tomorrow, it will be 2019, which is crazy. But just as Clint had said, we just want to update you on our top media lists of 2018. Now to preface this, I'm probably the weak link on the podcast when it comes to this, in that I don't have as much, I don't intake as much media. I'm working a lot, so it just ends up that I don't do it as much as I want to or should. But I do have a few things here. So the movie for 2018 that I really liked is actually not a 2018 movie, but is a movie that I watched in 2018, is The Prestige. Actually, Gordon, our other co-host, he's the one who introduced me to it. It stars Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, so just a stellar cast. But it's a really, really good movie. It came out in 2006, so it's a little bit older, but I really appreciate movies that have a really good twist at the end, and this movie definitely has that. As for an actual movie that came out in 2018, I really enjoyed Infinity War, but that kind of feels like a cop-out. The Greatest Showman was a good movie, but I don't even remember when that came out. It might have actually been 2017. Once you start getting old like me, the days just sort of run together. My favorite book of 2018 that I read was actually 33 Days to Merciful Love. I read that with a group of guys. I actually picked that book, while it's not just like a book that you sit down to just enjoy because you enjoy reading. It is definitely a good book, and it was really impactful for me and really helpful in my spiritual life. So I have to actually love that. Continuing on with that, my favorite TV show, so I actually don't have cable. So it's really hard for me to pick and or watch TV. But I do have Netflix. I've started watching Black Mirror, which is actually a really, really good sort of futuristic sci-fi thriller sort of show. They actually have, it's kind of like The Twilight Zone, but for modern era and much more futuristic. And that's definitely one that I've really liked. I've also watched a lot of the Netflix Marvel original shows, and those are all pretty good. I'm still getting caught up on the 2018 season, so I can't really use any of those as my favorite TV show, because I'm actually catching up with them right now. Favorite song, gosh, that one's actually really, really difficult. However, I will say my favorite artist right now is definitely Johnny Swim. Mackenzie Young, who was a Focus missionary who came onto our podcast and did the Harry Potter episode, was actually the one who introduced me to Johnny Swim originally, and I have really listened to them quite often, usually to and from work a lot. Of their songs, it's really hard to pick a favorite, but Ring the Bells is a really cool song that actually has a lot of really deep theological meaning if you listen to it and think about it, at least compared to non-Christian songs. So I really like that one. And then for the podcast, I will probably have to say I really enjoy Pints with Aquinas with Matt Fradd, but that's also, and Word on Fire, but those are both kind of cop-outs for a Catholic podcaster to say. As you guys know, we just released an episode on Dungeons & Dragons, so my favorite podcast to listen to for them to kind of get a little inspiration is a podcast called Critical Role. So those are my top media lists for 2018. Again, the movie was The Prestige. The book was 33 Days to Merciful Love. TV show was Black Mirror. The song and or artist was Johnny Swim, specifically Ring the Bells. And then my podcast was Pints with Aquinas, Word on Fire, or Critical Role. And so thanks again for joining us in 2018. And we hope to see y'all in 2019.
Hello, fellow culturians, Christian culturans. Hello, culturans. We just probably heard from Steve, or haven't heard from us at all because it's New Year's Eve and you're probably hanging out with family, celebrating. I meant to do this yesterday, but I am home for the holidays. I am in Georgia, and yesterday my brother picked me up because I haven't seen him the whole time I've been here. We hung out all day. I never was home or around to do this in front of my computer. Also, it's going to say that Clint posted this because I am hijacking his Facebook. If you've listened to all the episodes or caught up in some later episodes, you know I have social media blacked out. I got rid of everything. And yeah, then I meant to do this earlier today, and then same thing happened. I've been looking for a car while I'm home, and that took precedence. And so I'm finally sitting somewhere here talking to you guys, and I'm able to share what my top media is for the year. This is something I used to do all the time when it came to New Year's, and I had social media. I would post like, oh, these are my favorite movies of the year because I love movies and my favorite songs. So I'm really excited about this, but it's also one of the hardest things because I can't pick favorites. Usually it's like, what's your favorite song? I'm like, I can tell you my favorite song or album of this week because I love listening to new stuff, seeing new stuff. So movies, let's go down the list. Favorite movie, 2018. I thought about this long and hard, and I'm going to have to say Infinity Wars. Avengers Infinity War probably trumped because it's probably the movie I watched the most repeatedly this year, talked about the most, it kind of had my attention. Outside of that, both what Clint and Steve said were pretty much runner-ups, honorable mentions, how you want to say it, but Greatest Showman, finally watched that this year and loved it. Watched it a bunch of times with other people, and The Quiet Place. Saw that more than once and loved it. TV shows, for me, would be the Netflix miniseries Maniac, which we actually did a podcast on, with Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. Loved it. I watched it twice, and I would watch it 4 or 5 more times. Honorable mention, or almost beat it, would be this new Netflix series that just came out for Christmas called Happy. Viewer discretion advised, but it is really funny and really good. It's based off a comic book. It's really good. When it comes to books, this is where I lack in the department. Clint holds that end up for me. But probably the only book I finished this year would be Tattoos on the Heart by Father Gregory Boyle. But I also read Secret Wars, which is a comic book this year, and that was really good. Marvel Secret Wars. Podcasts. Lanky Guys is my favorite podcast all time. I think I'm growing out of it. I'm not really using it as much, listening to it as often. But Lanky Guys is these 2 guys, Colorado, that just go over all 3 readings on Sunday and talk about what each thing means, how they connect with each other, and it's really good. Honorable mention for podcast would be Wolverine, The Long Night, which Marvel and Stitcher teamed up to do. It's very much like Bright Sessions, but I think it's just because it's Marvel and Wolverine so much better. It's great. And then music, and this is where it's the hardest for me. I didn't listen to a lot of music this year. I kind of went over the whole list of music that came out this year, and I would say it wasn't an incredible year for music, in my opinion. But what hands down wins, because I do albums, best music album that came out this year would be Delta by Mumford & Sons. It is one of their best works. I mean, all their albums are great and stand on their own in some way. It was probably one of my favorite Mumford & Sons albums through and through. Honorable mention here would be Poco a Poco by Brother Isaiah. He's a Franciscan friar of the Renewal, and he made a stellar worship album that you should check out. Check out, what else? Struggler by Brother Isaiah. So good. Pray with it. And then if I had to pick a song like they did, I don't know if it's my favorite of all time. I don't have like a favorite song, but just one song that's really fun, and I listened to it a whole bunch this year, would be Fever Pitch by Rainbow Kitten Surprise. So yeah, let's go through this one more time. Movie, Infinity War. TV shows, Maniac or Happy. Books, Tattoos on the Heart by Father Gregory Boyle. Podcasts, Lanky Guys or Wolverine. Music, Delta, the album by Mumford & Sons, or Fever Pitch by Rainbow Kitten Surprise. I hope you guys are having a very blessed and safe New Year, and celebrate up this feast of Our Lady, Mother of God. See you next year.